always see online people debating whether short form or long form is a better option for you to go about choosing, and a lot of people kind of don't factor in a lot of different things, such as what situation exactly are you in? How much time do you have? All of these different things. The only thing I really see people say is long form makes more money, right? There's a higher RPM, or long form you build an actual brand, which is very, in my opinion, up in the air. Look at some of these long form channels, they're not really building anything that is worth anything at all, right? Some of these sleeping AI streams, whatever, all this garbage, right? So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly which you should choose for your exact situation, and we're going to really just get into the nitty gritty of it. Okay, so first off, you're going to need to focus on tools. Okay, for each of shorts or long form, the tools that you have, there's a certain like accessibility of it, where if you don't have the standard or like this a specific format of videos, there isn't really much point in you trying to compete, right? And it'll be 100 times harder to make long form content, for example, if you don't have the best tools to do so, such as the best editing software, Adobe Premiere Pro, a high quality mic, or a powerful laptop slash PC setup, right? You're not going to be able to output the highest quality content that you can, which literally everyone else is in whatever niche that it is. Now, obviously, there's like these gray areas where we see people just record on their iPhone and they talk to the camera, they maybe show themselves in the gym, whatever, all these different things, kind of like vlogs, and they get millions of views and they build $1 million brands, right? But if that's not your goal, if that's not what you're trying to actually build and you're trying to make true AdSense and building faceless YouTube channel, then that's not really going to work for you, right? And it doesn't really matter at all. You should be focusing on making faceless content that includes you wearing these things, right? If you even try to half-ass it just a bit, you're just going to not get the results that you were looking for, and you're going to quit, okay? Very put simply, you're going to. Whereas if you look at tools for short form, really what you're going to need is just an okay editing software. You can use stuff like CapCut, for example, right? Which you can literally get on your phone or your laptop PC if you have that, but it doesn't really, it doesn't require any crazy specs or anything like that, which, for example, Adobe Premiere, even if you have like a laptop or something, try to run Adobe Premiere Pro, it just will not function properly because it just cannot handle Adobe Premiere Pro with its capabilities that you would try to, I guess, put onto your videos. It's just not possible, right? Run an okay editing software. You don't need to speak, right? If you look at most shorts, there's not really a specific person speaking like with their voice, or they're literally just using AI voice, which you can pay to use with stuff like 11 Labs, or you can just use the free ones, stuff like that. Or if you do want to use a voiceover, it's not really required to have a crazy mic or anything like that, but realistically most of the time you won't need to speak. You just need to edit clips and do it in a transformative manner, and all you really need is a phone. You can make shorts on a phone. You can make a YouTube channel with 1 million subscribers, get millions of views, hundreds of millions of views with a phone. I've seen it before. I know many people that have done it. Okay. And the next thing is you need an okay strategy and plan. Okay. Your strategy and videos don't need to be perfect or complicated when we look at YouTube Shorts. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to go in without any plan or not think much about how you're going about it, because yes, having a good plan works, but it's not like long form, where if you go into long form and you do not have not just a plan, but a very like very above surface level execution plan and strategy of how you're going to actually do this, your videos probably isn't going to blow up. Like, you really have to think about all these different parts of your videos. Like, okay, it's not just I'm going to make about this specific niche. It's what videos can I make about a specific niche? How am I going to get viewers to watch? Would that be thumbnail, whether that be my hooks and all these different things, and pacing and copywriting. I said copyright, I mean scripting, right, of your videos. Whereas YouTube Shorts is kind of the same, but it's all of that really shortened, right? Because it's only what, 1 minute max. Well, I guess there's 3 minute shorts, but really you're only gonna need about 30-second long videos that you're gonna be making. And that's all you're gonna really have to focus on. So it's not like you're gonna have to do a whole lot compared to, long form, where you really need a good strategy and a good plan. Cannot half-ass it, okay? If you try to, you're gonna fail. You're gonna be like, why didn't it work? And you're gonna waste your time, right? As well as you're gonna need to spend a lot of time. This is where the next thing a lot of people don't talk about is the time to plan and actually start working on this plan strategy. It takes a long time, okay, compared to short form. Okay, so if you know you're working on a job, I'm not saying that you can't entirely, but it's going to be slow progression, very, very slow progression in order to make a high quality video that might blow up. So you really have to factor that in. Whereas with short form, me, myself, and I know others, I can scroll on YouTube, look at a niche, and be like, damn, that's really good and interesting. I know about this niche. I'm very informed on it. I literally open up my editing software, I one-to-one copy the video. Obviously, I have to give my own unique value zone in that niche in order to stand out, right? So do something differently. But I can literally replicate the style of video, enter that niche in a matter of a day, and post my first short. It's very easy. You don't have to think too hard about it. Long form, it's kind of different because you want to actually go in. I wouldn't say necessarily overthinking it so much, because being very truthful, you're probably gonna fail. I don't think much people's first YouTube channel, they succeeded right off the bat, especially with zero experience at all. So you really have to focus on that. Really have that in mind of, hey, if I'm gonna do long form, it's either I have time to work towards this and put a lot of my time into it, or I don't have a lot of time. When I do have time, I'm going to work on this, and probably after a few weeks, I will have not only a good strategy, but a very good video in hand, edited, everything, and it's ready to be posted. And you're going to have to do that as much as possible in order to get as much reps and as much videos out in order to get more views, get monetized, get paid, right? And the next part is the execution. Nothing I've talked about so far or anything coming after matters unless the execution of the video is not perfect, at least for long form content. Nothing you do or have matters if you fail at the execution, especially with long form. If you have a bad thumbnail, people won't click your videos. How will they know the video is good if you don't intrigue them with the thumbnail? Okay, click on the video. Okay, let's say you get the thumbnail right. They click on the video, they watch the video, the hook isn't good, instantly uninterested, and they leave, right? You don't give them exactly what they came for off rip. If you don't give them a reason to keep watching, they won't. So there's all these different things you kind of have to, I guess, factor in, right? Failing at just one of these can lead to a total failure, right? If the editing of the video just isn't good and interesting enough for them to continue watching, then they'll click off. If the thumbnail isn't good, they won't click at all. If the video isn't engaging, they might watch some of it, but they won't watch the entirety of it, right? What you want them to obviously do in order to increase your watch time, in order to get monetized, as well as the retention of the video, in order to make YouTube push your videos more, right? That average viewer duration, your AVD, as well as the script writing of the video, okay? You want to have a good script. Both of these, engaging and script writing, go hand in hand. So you want to have a good script that not only keeps the viewer entertained, but you want to keep them interested in what I'm speaking about. So this is probably one of the most important things that you want to focus on. Whereas if we look at short form, execution doesn't need to be super perfect every time in order to make it work. Okay, I've seen it so many times, and you've seen it yourself, where you watch AI slop videos or people that just don't have that much, I guess, crazy editing behind their videos, but they still get tens of millions of, and that can literally be you, because execution doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to have really an interesting idea, an interesting idea or topic that the video is speaking about, that people will just watch it anyways, which increases your attention. YouTube sees that and they're like, hey, let's push this video more, because people seem to like it. They stayed on our platform, they stayed watching this specific video more than they did the rest, right? So you really need to just focus on these three things. I put two, but it's three, which is the editing, the hook, script slash retention, which goes hand in hand, right? Editing doesn't need to be the craziest, but there is a standard. There is a standard in long form, there's a standard in short form, especially in a specific niche that you're choosing. Like, for example, if you're going into Zach D Films' niche for a short form content, if you do it really poorly, no one's gonna watch you, right? You have no reason to. So you really want to be able to replicate his videos to the T, because people have him already to watch. There is other Zach D Films clones to watch. So why would they watch you that just makes low effort videos? Okay. And this hook, which is basically like the thumbnail for YouTube Shorts, which is basically giving the viewer in their mind picture of what this video is about, because you have to remember, they're scrolling and their brain is turned off basically, right? They're AFK. So they're not really gonna read your source title if you put one. You're not gonna take the time to pause and really understand what's happening. So you want to just instantly do all the work for them and put that idea in their mind in order for them to not scroll away and feel uninterested. Okay, script slash retention is basically after the hook, where you want to basically keep them engaged and keep them watching. What you really should try to do with your videos is make a progressive style of videos, where you give the viewer an objective at the end of the video, where they have to watch the video, try the video to get the tiny pieces that lead to objective that they came for, and kind of give them that curiosity with the hook. That's basically how you optimize for attention on your YouTube Shorts in order to get as much views as possible. Okay? Because YouTube would push your content. The straighter your retention line is, YouTube will push you more. So you should only choose short form content if you don't have access to the tools to make the highest quality videos possible. Okay, good niche and videos to replicate one-to-one, but at the same time, you obviously want to make it unique in your own way. And beginner skills and experience to execute it properly. You don't need to be a world-class editor. You don't have to watch YouTube every day and study niches and all these different things and your competitors in order to make it work. And you really only have to be willing to dedicate 1 to 2 hours a day to making videos and learning to improve them. It really only takes about an hour to 2 hours to find an idea, to get the recordings, whatever, put it together, edit it, and post it on YouTube. But long form, it's a bit different, okay? You should only choose long form if you have the standard requirements of the access to the tools to make the best quality videos possible, the strategy to make good content. Okay, you don't want to just go in blind and just try and throw shit at the wall, because most likely you're just not gonna make it work. And the skills and experience to execute it properly. Okay, you really need to be able to operate at standard for a niche. If you know you can't and you have money, you can really just pay someone to edit and make your videos, do the script writing, do everything for you, an expert, and they will literally replicate whatever style of videos you want, and you can do long form, right? And you have to be willing to sacrifice months with really zero successful results and study hard to compete with the best. Okay, none of these guys that you're watching or seeing online videos you're watching, they've studied, they know how to keep you watching. And if you want to do that your thing, you can't just go in half-ass thinking you know everything. You have to do and go through the exact same process which they did. Long form is that, and short form is kind of the same, but very less. Okay, it's not that complicated. You can really just do it if you have a brain. That is YouTube Shorts versus long form content. Which to choose? If you found this video informative for you and you were able to make a decision specifically on choosing short form content, if it aligns with what your life is like and what you want out of your career in doing online business, I do have a specific short form program in the link in the description below, where I will teach you specifically all of these different strategies and all these different things that will allow you to pick your niche, how to make better videos, how to make the best videos in your niche and stand out in order to get views, increase your attention, and obviously get monetized at the end of the day in order to make money doing YouTube Shorts. So if you chose YouTube Shorts, are interested in learning from me, there's a link in the description below or the comments. Click it, go check it out for yourself. But I hope you were able to really come to a decision with this video and give you some clarity on different things. And yeah, I wish you the best of luck. I'll see you in the next one.